Okay, hey, I'm Osborne, and today we're going to be playing Liminal Ranger. This is my submission for Summer Game Some Quick 2022, and this is a game made by Italian Dop in 2021, and it's completely free on itch.io, and I'm hoping that I can give a good showcase for it, and hopefully you guys can consider it for the event. But with that being said, I'm just going to start here in new game. The timing will begin once I hit that, and so it'll be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So, the basic premise behind Liminal Ranger is that you are just some guy, some person, who knows, and you meet up with a friend, and this friend, you think that there's going to be normal meetup, but when you turn this corner, they're not there anymore, and you end up trying to see if they're behind this fence. When you turn around, something has gone terribly wrong, because that is not your friend. And essentially, when a space loses itself, people can get lost in it, and our friend has gone lost in this space. It has gone lost in time and the universe, and we are on a journey to find them and rescue them. But with that, we are getting hired by a organization that allows us to save different people in these lost spaces and fulfill the memories of these lost spaces as well. And that is the basic premise, that is the basic plot behind the game. We're going to be going to different spaces and exploring a lot of different movement and different mechanic options that we have. And with that, we're just going to go straight into the game. But right here, the first thing we're going to do is grab our helmet and go to work. In this section, there's going to be stairs here in the corner. You just have to jump up them, because going up these stairs normally actually does lose you time. Your speed decreases ever so slightly when you walk upstairs, and then jumping up them gives you a little bit of a boost. This is our boss. His name is Boss. Please refer to him as such. He's just telling us that some of these spaces that we need to go to are unhappy, and we're going to see if we can fulfill some of the wishes that they need to have in order to become normal again. We get introduced to some mechanics in this tutorial section. The first one is jumping. The second one is a new item called the pogo stick. It is exactly what it sounds like. The second jump of the pogo stick by hitting left click will always be higher than the first one, and you can actually keep that height as long as you just time your jumps correctly. The second object that we get introduced to is the teleporting coin. You hit left click to throw it, and then you hit right click to teleport to where the coin is. The third object is this hammer. The hammer is actually not being used in its intended way. We right click and then jump at the right time to gain a lot of velocity and height, and then once we get teleported back, we're actually going to reset the checkpoint, and then that'll put us right in front of the door that'll lead us to Concordia Plaza. And right here we get introduced to the fourth object in the game, which is the spray, and that is the only time we're ever going to use it, to spray the bad vibes away, because those enemies are quite literally called bad vibes. We're going to use the pogo stick and gain some height, and at the top of our jump, we used the teleporting coin to just get us onto that platform. And right here we're going to talk to the unhappy hallway, and we're going to collect 8 different memories for it, 8 different objects, in order to bring back its memories of people that actually did enjoy the space. Right here we're going to call back the coin, because we're going to use it for later, and that's pretty much the only time that we have to call it back. But the memories that we need to get for this hallway is 4 soda cups and 4 benches. Right now we're going to get the soda cups, and luckily we did get through here in time to make it for this cycle of this enemy. All the enemies in this game work on cycles, and as long as you make it there before a specific cycle, you're essentially guaranteed a faster cycle every single time, if that makes any sense. And then during this section, we're just going to jump over the bad vibes. That is literally what they're called, bad vibes. And so we're just going to jump over them, and we're going to use the pogo stick again at the end of this hallway, and use the teleporting coin to get into this small little section, and then use the hammer for its intended purpose, smashing glass. And now that we've collected all 4 soda cups, we're going to take the coin, we're going to place it right here, because we're going to come back to it later, and we're going to travel over to the other section of the map where we will get the 4 benches. Now, these 4 benches, originally, they're scattered throughout the building on the right-hand side over here. Originally, we got them bottom to top, but now we're going to get them top to bottom, because we did find a specific way to get to the top of this building early, which is climbing up this section at the very tip of this broken object right here. We're going to pogo up and get to this section where we'll collect our first bench. If you mess up, it doesn't really matter all that much as long as you get here before as these enemies are turning around, and so you can get their fast cycles down and grab this third bench as this enemy is running away. We get that checkpoint, and we're going to purposefully get hit by that enemy in order to get back to the checkpoint, and then we're going to use the coin that we had originally, the coin that we left there, and teleport back to it in order to get to the hallway early, or the hallway really fast, I should say. And now that we've collected all 8 objects and returned all the memories back to the hallway, it is now happy, and we can move on to the next area and return to our boss. And we actually get a bit of a twist here as we spam through this text, and we have to get rid of an object because you can only borrow objects from a space, you can't take it, as the game says to us. And we're going to get rid of an object and upgrade an object. We got rid of the spray because the spray does not matter, and then we're going to upgrade the hammer in order to use its alt ability that allows us to fly. Now we're going to Hotel Avelia, and we're going to try to look for a room. As you can see, that is the alt ability right here for that object. And I was very close to actually dying, because if you stand in that enemy's light for too long, you will die and get transported back to the nearest checkpoint. But thankfully, that did not happen. We're going to wait here and play it safe. It actually does not matter how fast you are up to this point, so I shouldn't play it that risky, because as long as you're here before a specific cycle, you'll be perfectly fine. You can technically use the alt ability of the hammer in order to go through all of this section. However, I find it more consistent to use the pogo stick because the movement is a bit more controlled. You don't really have a lot of control of the movement when you're in the air with the hammer. And we're supposed to talk to this room right here, and there's actually a wall preventing us from going anywhere except for at that corner. For some reason, the wall just doesn't go all the way to that corner, and so we can actually get out and skip talking to the room for the first time and just immediately go and grab all of the collectibles. We're going to get 4 light switches and 4 chairs, because that is the objects that you would find in a hotel room as we are communicating with in this section. We're going to use the that was very close. We're going to use the hammer's alt ability in order to fly up to that section. Again, that is not the intended purpose of it. I'll explain what it is in a bit. We're going to use the pogo stick to jump up this area, and we're going to grab our first chair. And then we're going to use the hammer in order to use its ability and go up to this section right here. We're going to use its alt ability. Again, the height and velocity of the flight that you get from the hammer is all dependent on the timing of your jump. So sometimes the timing is a little bit precise. So we're going to grab this chair right here, and then we're going to take the coin and then reset the checkpoint, and we're going to grab the last chair right over here. Boom! And then we're going to use the right click in order to transport back to where the coin was. We're going to get a little bit more velocity and height in here with the hammer. You can just use that as standard movement as well. We're going to talk to this room, and we actually do get to skip the first interaction because we already collected all 8 of the collectibles needed to move on to this area. And now the room is just going to open up this door for us, and then we get to go talk to our boss again. And in this section, we cannot get rid of the hammer because the hammer has already been upgraded. However, that's a good thing because we can just use the alt ability for it and essentially just gain infinite height. And we're going to get rid of the pogo stick, and we're going to grab the coin because essentially with the new with the alt ability of the hammer, the pogo stick kind of becomes obsolete. In this section, we get transported to the corridor where we saw our friend disappear, and we're actually going to follow the what we assume to be like the kind of like spirit of our friend, and we are just going to avoid specific shadowy enemies in this section, and there's not a lot to say about it. So there's actually a really good amount of time for donations here as I go through here, about 30 seconds or so as I go through this specific section, avoiding these enemies. Jumping through here. As you can see, those are the shadow enemies that you saw on the right hand side right there. Will we get a sub 9 out of this section? Maybe. Who knows? But that is our friend. Or at least we think it's our friend. This is not a sub 9 out of the section. It's close though. We're just going to jump up this section because, again, jumping up these stairs will increase your speed ever so slightly. And then what we're going to be doing here is, as we spam through this text, what we're going to be doing first is just leaving the teleporting coin here so we can come back to it later. And then we're just going to use the hammer and its ult ability to essentially just fly everywhere we want to go. leave this here, and then use the hammer alt ability, and then just fly. We're actually gonna fly. You might consider this out of bounds. I'm not totally sure what to consider this, but we're just gonna fly up to this section. Again, this is not the intended movement. The intended purpose is just to do what I did right now, which is just keep you floating throughout the air as you're still like falling. And so we're gonna get this section right here. That was so close. And then we're gonna grab this other skateboard at the top of the section. We need to grab 4 skateboards and 4 vents. We're gonna get the second skateboard right here. And then we're going to grab this skateboard through here. That is a very risky area, because if you touch that really large bad vibe, then you actually get teleported back to the beginning of the section, or this specific checkpoint right here. We're gonna walk through this bad vibe's legs, and we're going to grab the last skateboard right here, and then we're going to teleport back to where the coin was. We're going to leave it here again after we collect all of, so that we can get something after we collect all of the vents. Going to come up here and then use the hammer in the same sense that we did for the skateboards, and just fly through and grab all 4 vents. We're going to grab the vents top to bottom, because that's just more efficient and faster than going in from bottom to top. Perfect. Grab it here at the other side. You can actually grab this vent through the wall, surprisingly, and then we're going to grab this vent right here, please. Sometimes the hitboxes for some of these vents are a bit weird. And then after collecting this 4th vent, we're just going to teleport back to the main section, where we will interact with this corridor again. And now that all of its memories are brought back, we can finally finish the level. And we're actually coming up very close on time. We're going to go through this door. And one little piece of speed tech that I forgot to mention is that when you talk to your boss, you can actually press E to reset the dialogue. And if you keep doing that, the more that you reset the dialogue, the faster the dialogue can actually be spammed through. And that is time. That is 11:44.50, which is actually a recorded world record. It is not an official world record. My actual world record is 11:37. My recorded world record, though, is 11:44, because I forgot to record the 11:37. But that is Liminal Ranger. Yeah. I'm going to be also recording a true ending submission for this. I want to use that as like a bit of an incentive. Upgrade from normal ending to true ending. This is the normal ending, obviously, because we didn't collect any of the mementos in order to grab the true ending. But that's pretty much it. That is a Liminal Ranger normal ending. I hope that you consider this a pretty good run. I think it's an amazing run. There's so much to go for it. I couldn't stop talking, and so there's just so much to explain, and to expose a huge audience to this kind of game would be absolutely amazing. So that is my submission of Liminal Ranger into SGDQ 2022. Again, also the music is another reason why you should accept this. I think that people will love the music. So yeah, that'll be all from me. I've been Osmorn, and yeah, that is my submission video. I'll see you in another submission video, because I have more to record. So yeah.